As a work camper, how many hours should you work for a full hookup site? Hi, I'm Steve Turtle.
It's a household name.
And I'm a work camper. This story's about Jill and me. Back on the road again. 3 days in Savannah, Georgia, and 3 days in Charleston, South Carolina. What about Union, South Carolina? When are we going to Union? All right, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Last week, we traveled from Lake Kissimmee, Florida to Savannah, Georgia. Along the way, we met some friends and had a blast. If you missed last week's story and you'd like to see it, I'll leave a link right up there. This week, we're going to talk about our trip from Savannah, Georgia to Charleston, South Carolina. Some workamper discussions, and also a little bit about some workamper job websites. And then next week, we're traveling to Union, South Carolina, if the weather cooperates. And I'm going to share how we determine how many hours you should work for a full hookup site. But that's a little later on in the story. But first, have you ever seen someone's mode of transportation and felt really bad for them? Like this guy's scooter. That's a redneck kickstand. It's a chunk of wood. And he must dislike his scooter so bad, he left the keys in it. He wants someone to steal it. It made me a little bit sad. I'm just happy that I've got my old truck. Again, this week I'd like to promote another YouTube workamper creator. It's Ben and Christina. McMillan Express is their channel. They're traveling in Texas right now, trying to find warm weather, stay warm for the winter. And they're also looking forward to their first work camping opportunity. If you're interested, go on over to their channel, leave them a comment, tell them Steve Turtle sent you. I'll leave a link right up there. Now for the weather. We're headed north, but first, before I head north, I check out the forecast. And if I see temperatures in the 40s, I'm staying down in the south. We had planned to leave Savannah and go to Union, South Carolina. I looked at the 10-day forecast and there were 4 days in the 30s. So I'm staying in the south. I could wait. Okay, let's talk a little bit about work camping. As a work camper, you need to know how many hours you should work for a full hookup site. So I was on the Workampers Facebook page and ran across a conversation about just this subject. The question's often asked, and it was about 175 comments about the subject. So I want to talk about how we determine how many hours we would work for a full hookup site. So there's many different types of work campers, all types of work. Now what I'm going to talk about is how many hours we would work at a campground in trade for a site. No pay. These are dollar amounts from our first camp host job. This gives you the value of what the campground owner is giving you in trade for your time. This is how we do the math. A monthly camper pays $450 for a full hookup. That includes water, sewer, Wi-Fi, and cable. This chart is the cost that the campground owner incurred at our first camp host job. We did not pay for the electric, propane, or laundry, and we also had a 10% discount at the store. So our full hookup site was $450 a month. The electric was $130 a month, propane about $30 a month, and then laundry about $40 a month. And then we had a store credit, and I don't know how much that really came to, so I threw in about $10 for a grand total of $650 per month. And also the Wi-Fi and cable was included in the $450, so I did not add that to the cost of the campground owner. So now for our fuzzy math. So we take the $650 and we divide it by the minimum wage. At the time, the minimum wage was $8.50, and that equals 76 hours per month. Then we take the 76 hours and we divide them by 4 weeks, and that gives us 19 hours per week. Then we take the 19 hours per week, divide it by 2, husband and wife, or spouse, significant other, whatever you want to call it. and that gives you about 10 hours per week. And we thought that was a fair trade. However, sometimes it does not matter how many hours you work if you're wanting to stay at a place that you really want to stay at. It all depends on you. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave your comments down below. Well, I guess I will get to the rest of the story. If I keep rambling on, everybody will start checking out. Wednesday, we went to the Wormslow plantation, and we had a nice walking tour, and also had a tour guide that explained the history of the plantation. And after the plantation, we were down in Historic Savannah, and we stopped to eat at Lady & Sons restaurant. And as I was walking around, I bumped into Paula Dean. And Thursday, we were down to visit Old Fort Jackson, and Jill had the opportunity to get a stamp in her National Parks book. Nothing like a good old fort. The atmosphere, you could just imagine a ship spotted approaching the fort. Call to arms is sounded. Soldiers hustling around to their positions. Artillery crew ready at the cannon, waiting for the command to fire. Friday, we were back downtown, Historic Savannah, and we went out to Leopold's to have some ice cream. And the line was pretty long, but the ice cream was worth the wait. It was really good. And then we strolled around and checked out some of the sights along the streets, some of the history, and later on we bumped into Marilyn Monroe, and she was airing out her dress. Saturday, we departed Savannah, heading north, arrived at Foster Creek RV Park at the Naval Air Station, Charleston, South Carolina. $22 a night, not a bad deal. Sunday, we made our way down to historic downtown Charleston, and this was our first reconnoiter of the city. And we checked out the parking, public transportation, and it was pretty much like Savannah. Parking was $2 an hour, and public transportation is a hop-on and hop-off bus, and it's free. We strolled along the streets and checked out some of the history and some of the shops, and made our way to the waterfront. Just sat there and enjoyed the sights. Monday, we visited Fort Sumter National Park, and it was $21 with a military discount. Not a bad deal. And it included a ferry ride for an hour over there and back to the fort, and then a 1-hour self-guided tour of the fort. And then Jill, she had an opportunity to get another stamp in her National Parks book. This week on Workamper Job Highlights, I'd like to share some links to 11 Workamper job websites, 6 Gate Guard Facebook groups, and 11 Gate Guard security companies. The links are down below in the description area. Click on the 2 words down below that say show more, and then scroll down to find the links. If you're thinking about work camping or gate guarding, here are 2 videos to get you started. I'll leave a link right up there. Well, what's next for us? By the time you see this story, we'll still be in Charleston, South Carolina. But right after that, we're headed north to Union, South Carolina. We're going to visit family and friends. Hometown family and friends. Well, that's our story for the week. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, click the like button and smash that subscribe button if you'd like to hear more stories like this one. New stories every week on Wednesday, right here on this YouTube channel. Oh, I forgot. Ring that bell. You want to get a notification. You don't want to miss any of these stories. Until later, thanks for your time. Bye.